All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. Again, so the session we're having right now is about Sage Intacct. And so if you were on the first session, obviously you do know now that Oasis is a Sage Intacct partner. And so I'm going to be spending a little bit of time today kind of going over a little bit of Sage Intacct, giving you a very quick show and tell. If you've been in another session, you've seen this housekeeping slide. I'm not going to go into it. If you have questions, please put those in the chat, and we will be happy to get those questions answered for you. Again, I'm Jeff Stout, the practice manager at Oasis, and I'll be the one showing you Sage Intacct demo today. So what we're going to do is just, hey, what is Sage Intacct? And then we're going to do a brief little overview. You'll see the application. As I go through just a couple slides here for you, again, Sage Intacct is a born in the cloud solution. It was a cloud product from the first line of code that was written. It is an all-in-one platform based on the core financials of Sage Intacct, which you'll see kind of down here in the left. And then there's additional modules and industry-specific solutions that have been built on top of Sage Intacct. Sage Intacct also has a very specialized vertical focus. So you'll see some of the verticals that it specializes in here as well. Some of the specialization is in things that Sage has, but also in some of the third-party or marketplace applications that are built on top of Sage Intacct. So a lot of different features and functionality and industry focus that is available that's built on top of the Sage Intacct platform. And you'll see here from this next slide, again, Sage Intacct with our base core financials and other functionality. And then it says here over 400 marketplace partners. There is a tremendous amount of functionality from marketplace partners that have been built on top of Sage Intacct for very specific industry items. And you'll see a couple of those strategic partners that are listed on here. Some of the same ones that you'll see with Sage 100 if you have those with Avalara and Salesforce and others. So also working with the Sage Intacct application. Okay, and so now what I want to do and spend most of the time on is I want us to get into the application. So we're going to do a quick little overview of Sage Intacct. So I'm going to kind of jump here to the Sage Intacct demo. And so just to kind of lay out a little bit for y'all what I'm going to do, there's kind of 5 things I want to focus on in our time here as we go over this. Those things I want to give you a little bit of look and feel of the Intacct interface. I want us to be able to talk a little bit about actionable and accessible data. Okay, as we look at Intacct, think of our data as being actionable that we're seeing, but also very accessible. We'll take a look at dashboards in Intacct and how we can maneuver within the application, how we can see information that's presented to us. We'll talk a little bit about the filter and the drill down capability of Sage Intacct, and then we'll kind of wrap it up talking about some of the workflow and collaboration tools. So, we won't be getting very deep into any module functionality. We're kind of doing an overview, but we'll touch on different areas and module functionality within the system. So as you'll see here, I'm going to log into Sage Intacct. And so it is fully cloud-based. So anywhere I'm at that I have access, I'm using a Chrome browser right now to log into Intacct, but you could log in, from your phone or whatever other browser that you have wherever you have internet access. And I am going to be in 2 different instances of Sage Intacct here, and I'm going to do that just to demonstrate some of the workflow and collaboration pieces. So I've got. In one session here, I'm going to be logged in as Emma, the controller of the organization, and in my other session up here, I'm going to be logged in as myself, as Jeff, so I can demonstrate some of the workflow and collaboration tools within Intacct. So when I log in, what I have presented to me right now is a role-based dashboard. Okay, and this is assigned to me as the user. So different users can have different dashboards. And again, the key here is they are role-based. Okay, so what's important to me and my user as I log in is what I will present on my dashboard. So if I'm the controller or the CFO and I'm more worried about financial information, I can see that. If I'm an AP manager and I'm more worried about the accounts payable and vendor payments and things like that, maybe I'll have a different dashboard that shows those things. So the thing to remember here is that the dashboard is customizable, it's role-based, and it's to present information that's important to the user logging in. And so as I talk about things like actionable and accessible data, you'll see some of the different components that I have on the dashboard here, things that are important to me. So up top, I have some what are called performance cards that show me certain information, and you'll see there's some conditional formatting on these performance cards, you know, a green arrow, a red arrow, things like that, that'll draw my eye and draw my attention to these things so I can take a quick look and make a quick decision. Is that something good? Is it something bad? Do I need to drill into that, or is it okay just to move on? You'll also see some other components, and I will let you know, this is my demo system. So I have a bunch of stuff on my dashboard. In reality, you may only have 3 or 4 or 5 things, but I have a lot because I want to be able to show people the different components that are out here. There are some collaboration tools, some approval processes, some collaboration tools, some checklists that you'll see over here on the left you can put on your dashboard. In the middle here, I have some reports that are on the dashboard that are presented to me. On the right, I kind of have some different ratios. I have some graphs, some charts that I present as well. Okay. Now, this information, also remember the information I'm seeing on my dashboard is dynamic. So as things are being updated in the system, as my browser screen is refreshed, information is being updated on this. This is not just fully static information. Okay. So if so that gives me a little insight into what the interface looks like. Let's talk a little bit about drill downs. You'll notice that a lot of the items on this dashboard are hyperlinked. So you got that little blue, you know, hyperlink that we'll see here. I can drill into this information if I need to. So let's say I want to see on my performance cards what makes up my G&A expenses here. I can click that and drill in to that information. And that's going to show me all the different account groups within my G&A expenses. I can also drill down to a little bit deeper if I want to look at the one specific travel account and go down to the transaction level detail here, okay, and drill again all the way in if I need to. All right, and so I'll see this in a couple different places. I showed you in performance cards. I also see this in this report. So I have a P&L report here, and maybe I want to drill into that to see what some of the information. I can do the same thing down here. I'll just look at those G&A expenses, and you'll see it pulls up my general ledger report, and maybe my eyes drawn to certain information here. I want to see what this meals and entertainment expense bill is. That's $2,750 that was posted through accounts payable. I can drill into that, okay, and that'll take me back to the journal entry and show that that came from an accounts payable bill, and I can easily just drill down into that to see what that accounts payable bill is too. It's something that I paid to American Express, and maybe I want to view that actual AP bill in the system. So I can drill in and see that accounts payable bill. And I noticed that this bill we paid to American Express has an attachment on it. Okay, so I can click on that attachment and see that I have an image of a receipt, and I can open that receipt right in the system. Okay, so you'll see very quickly and very easily that I'm able to take from summary amount of information on a P&L report, and with 3 or 4 or 5 clicks of the mouse, drill down into transaction level detail. So, you know, when we talk about actionable and accessible data, it's very easy for me to drill down and see from a summary account to get the detail of the information that I need to see. Okay. So let me close a couple windows, get back to my my dashboard here. Now, another thing I mentioned is how this is customizable. It's role-based. If I'm as a user need to add something to my dashboard, I have the ability to do that. Let's say that, for example, I'm gonna change my role here in my mind as to maybe I'm the AP manager, and the CFO comes to me and says, hey, I need you to kind of keep an eye out on our office supplies expenses. They've been going up. So if I want to do that, I could very easily add me another performance card, okay, to the dashboard. And I just did that hitting the plus button, and I'm going to add a new component for performance card. I'm going to call this office supplies. Be very creative. And I'm going to pull up the office supplies account group, and I'm going to watch that, have it show me current month information. But what I want to do here is to actually say, if that's going up, I want that arrow to be red. I don't want it to be green. And I do want to show a percentage change there. So if I save that, now I've got a new performance card out there that's going to show me just, very specifically office supplies expense. And I can take a look at this and see that, hey, my office supplies, this past month, it's up, about almost 8% from what the previous month was. Okay, so I've just added a new component that I can start watching on the system. Okay, now Sage Intacct also, and I'll demonstrate this here on that office supplies, is also a dimensional accounting system. And what the dimensional accounting functionality allows me to do is to be able to filter and sort my financial information very quickly and easily, okay, in the system. And I always relate, especially for our Sage 100 folks, when you think of a dimensional accounting system, think of your dimensions as your segments in your chart of accounts. Okay, so in Intacct, I can have dimensions for location, department, customer, vendor, project, all kinds of different things that I can associate with my dimension. So what it really does from a chart of accounts perspective, it really shrinks up what your chart of accounts looks like and allows you to associate dimensions with those transactions. So I have some filters on my header here on my dashboard where I can filter for location. And so I have different locations set up here, 100, 200, 300. And I also have some different location groups set up that I could filter on. And I also have a department dimension set up. I have a departments for G&A, sales, marketing, IT, and then again, some different department type groups. But if I want to kind of filter on these, I can do that right on the dashboard. Let's say I want to see what my G&A expenses are. I can change my filter to that department. And then when I hit apply, it's going to update all of the numbers on my dashboard here for only those financial transactions that were associated with that particular department. Now you'll notice that my office supplies went down to zero there. They were $4,900 and some odd dollars. And so they've gone down to zero. So my G&A department is not utilizing anything as far as office supplies go. But I could change some of those filters, maybe go to marketing and apply that to my marketing department. And you'll see as I update those numbers, update that department filter. Now you will see, well, the marketing department, those jokers over there using every bit of it, right? So if I need to now go talk to somebody about their office supplies expense usage, I know who to go to, because the marketing department is utilizing all of those, all of the expenses for office supplies right now. Okay, so I have the ability to take and drill down and filter again from whether it's a summary number in the system that's being presented on a report, or in something, a performance card that I have created there. Okay, so actionable data, accessible data, okay, that I can drill down and filter on right from this dashboard that's customizable for my user, things that I want to see in the system. Now I'm going to delete that. I've already got office supplies back in line. I've taken care of the marketing folks. I don't need to watch that anymore. I'll take that right off of my dashboard, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to be looking at information for all of my departments and locations. Now, one other thing I do want to mention real quickly is Intacct is a multi-entity system. And so think of this as entities, as companies. It doesn't have to necessarily be company. Maybe it's a location, but you can think of it as companies if you're relating this to what Sage 100 has. And you'll see here I'm operating in the top level. So the top level, I'm consolidating all of my companies up. It happens automatically. Okay, this is a multi-entity shared environment. So whenever I do a transaction for one location, it's going to consolidate right up. So I can look at a consolidated view across all of my companies, or I could drill into each one individual company and look at the view just for that individual organization. Okay. What this also allows me to do is if I have security and I work at the top level, I can do invoices or transactions or receipts or something for the entities below me. Again, if I have the security to be able to do work on those entities. Okay. So this is a very key feature in Intacct in this multi-entity shared environment for consolidated reporting, consolidated views of your data, rather than having to go to individual ones and then kind of cobble that data together or pull that data together. Okay. Now, the fifth thing I mentioned that I wanted to show was a little bit about workflow and collaboration. And I'm going to start this by saying that things like workflows in your system, custom definitions of workflows that you would define, approval workflows, are all part of Sage Intacct. Okay, it's something you would turn on by module. So if you say, hey, I need to have approvals, an approval workflow for accounts payable bills or printing checks or posting of general ledger transactions, you can set those up in the system. And I'll demonstrate that for you. I'm going to jump over to my second instance where I'm as Jeff. And Jeff doesn't have the ability, for some reason, they won't let me post an AP bill. Okay. Probably what happened back in 2021 is, and we won't go into that, but that's probably why they won't let me do it anymore. But I'm going to go ahead in here and I'm going to create an AP bill, and just to demonstrate for you all some of the workflow functionality within Sage Intacct. So I went to accounts payable bills and I'm going to add a bill, and we're going to go in here and we're going to add a bill for State Farm. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the items here. I'll just make up a number. This is a PO over there. My invoice, right? One thing I will point out here, you do have an attachment that you can just add right from this AP bill section if you need to put an attachment on there. So, and that's going to stay with us through the life of this transaction. And I'll put my AP bill in here, and I will assign this to a location that we have, and also to a department. All right. And now I've entered my AP bill. All right. I'm going to submit this right now. And as I submit this, it's going to take me back to the list of my AP bills. And you'll notice that bill I just put in for State Farm is in a submitted state. Okay. That's because we have an approval process set up. And if I go back and view that bill and look at its history, we have an approval history here that says, hey, there's one step. It needs to go to Emma to approve. And right now it's been submitted. Okay. So if I'm Emma, I'm going to go back over here to Emma, and I'm going to refresh my screen here as Emma, and we'll see now in Emma's checklist for AP bill approvals, hey, there's that invoice right there for $17,500. All right. And Emma can then open her approved bill section, and she can see the bills that she has to approve. Now, I'm showing this to you within the application. You can also set this up where Emma would get an email, and maybe she's on her phone, she's out, having lunch with someone. She could look on her phone and say, oh, I've got an approval, look at it and say approve right from there. So you can set it up where you can have those things go to email. We'll show just right within the application here. So Emma could take within the application, she could open that up, she could view that bill, and maybe she has a question on that. Okay. As she looks at that, she's not sure what that is. So she could come down here and say, hey, Jeff, I'm gonna send Jeff a note and say, did our insurance go up? Looks high, right? And share that. And now Jeff will also get a notification from Emma, whether it be within the application, okay, here, or also if we have the workflow set up to send an email, he would get it within his email as well. So if I go back to my dashboard here in the application, I'll see in my little collaboration tool that I have here, I have a note from Emma that says, hey, did our insurance go up? It looks high. And I could say, yes, this is for the new warehouse location, right? And I could comment back to Emma on that. And again, you'll see what we have going here. Again, it could be via email back to Emma, or she could come right back here in her collaboration tool and see that Jeff responded and said, yes, that is for the new warehouse location. So based on that, Emma could then go in to that bill for $17,500 and say approve, and she'll approve that bill. And now what you would notice if Jeff would get a notice again through email or whatever functionality we have set up to provide that to him, as he goes in and looks at his list of bills now in the system, okay, and I switch back over to Jeff here real quick, that now that $17,000 bill for State Farm has been posted and in the system ready to carry on throughout the accounts payable process. Okay, so that was very quickly. And again, I had one level of bill approval set up there, very simplistic bill approval. You could have different levels if you do something based on dollar amount, pay up to $1,000, up to $25,000, something like that. It could have multiple levels that it goes through. So you could have a little bit more advanced workflows defined. But again, just to show you a little bit of some of the different workflow and approval processes, and also some of the collaboration tools that we can show here, or that we can see within Sage Intacct. So just to kind of wrap up, let's recap a little bit on the things I wanted to show what we were able to see. We did take a look at the interface. We were able to see what we could do with dashboards. And again, the thing to remember there, they're customizable by user, okay? Actionable and accessible data, okay? How quickly we can drill down into information, how we can accumulate information, how we can put information at someone's fingertips so they can very quickly and easily make decisions, okay? And a lot of that has to do with, again, the dimensional accounting functionality that we have within the system, but also just the interface and the way that we can customize those dashboards. So we looked at that filter and drill down, and then we kind of wrapped up taking a look at the workflow and collaboration tools within Sage Intacct and how we can track that information with transactions, and again, make it easy and efficient for users to take a look at something in the system, make a decision, and move on to their next task. Okay. All right. So that's what I had from a demo perspective to show y'all. Do we have any questions? I'm gonna look at the chat here and see if anything came in. Do we have any questions? So the question is there a mobile app? So that we have. You can access this on a mobile device. So it does, and I don't know what the technical term for this is, Chris, but it does represent itself properly on a mobile device. So when you log into it from like your iPhone or something like that, you will see this, but it's not like where you're scrolling across. So it's presentation ready for a mobile device. And there are transactions, again, that you do. You could even get that approval stuff that I showed out there would come to your email, and you could click it from your email, your Outlook on your phone or whatever, and it would take you into Intacct, okay, to do those transactions. So you can access this on a mobile device. Any other questions? Okay, Lana, I think we'll turn this back to you right now.
Attend all the sessions today that you have a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. So we have 2 more sessions, as I'm sure Jeff reminded you, after this, and I hope that we'll see you on them.
Yep. And again, if you have any questions, we've given Garen's contact information several times. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And again, hope to see you on the next couple sessions that we have. Thanks.